We've even got a spacious room for your comfort, complete with air conditioning, Wi-Fi, and a private bathroom. The Toucan Mall can also facilitate your event in our spacious conference hall. We also have a theater with films for the entire family. It's the Toucan Mall located in Amelia's Ward, Linden. Looking for a place for the whole family? Come down to the Toucan Mall in Amelia's Ward, Linden. It's the mall that has it all. We have great food, a relaxing atmosphere, and activities for all ages. Tennis, swimming, and a playground. But the fun doesn't stop after dark. There's even a bar and an arcade. And if you aren't ready to go home yet, we've even got a spacious room for your comfort, complete with air conditioning, Wi-Fi, and a private bathroom.
Hi.
The Toucan Mall can also facilitate your event in our spacious conference hall. We also have a theater with films for the entire family. It's the Toucan Mall located in Amelia's Ward, Linden.
While the mainstream media condemns the use of ivermectin,
Very good evening to all of you. Waiting to see, watching, listening, hearing. Program once again, and it's another Thursday. I guess the one before the last in October. And like I said before, it seems like when you blink, it's another month, you know. Soon enough, it's going to be November, and then it's going to be Christmas, and then maybe into 2022. It's crazy. Today we had a pretty cool day here. It rained, and it helped to cool the place down. As a matter of fact, it is still kind of cool at the moment, which is which is something that we really would like to have all the time. There's so many things that I want to talk about, but I got to be so careful with what I say. Thank you, Dominique, for helping us to have a program that is flawless, along with my dear operator, who's so kind and busy, always trying to make things happen, Miss Adams. We have a very good team here, and there's some situations that pop up that sometimes we're not able to control, and we try very hard to please all concerned. I'm being told that the camera in the studio is, I guess it's okay now. We had a little situation with it, but it's okay now. Thank you. Yeah, there's some persons who are far from reality. They're not very realistic with the times and what is happening with the times, and we are faced with all sorts of setbacks and changes and situations that brings change to the way we do things. Nothing is the same, and nothing is going to be the same again. What happened yesterday is gone. We can't change what happened yesterday. This is a new day, and tomorrow is going to be a new one, right? There's some people who are going to go to bed tonight that wouldn't wake up and see tomorrow. They wouldn't wake up and see another day. We cannot change those things, right? What we can change, we need to do something about it. Whatever we can make the difference with, we need to do something about that. Whatever you can't change, I always say you pray, give it to God, and let Him handle it for you. Or you find someone who knows what to do to fix it for you, and not stress yourself out too much. There's too much. There are too many factors now that surround our existence, and if we were to take everything on that is happening, we probably go crazy. All right. So we need to try to bring about some balance. Bring about some balance in your life, and not stress yourself out too much with what you can't do nothing about. Right? I also see that that there are persons who realistically are not able to handle what is going on. The changes, they can't handle it. We see people committing suicides. We see people in depression. We see people who are, they're getting nervous breakdowns and they're becoming more sick and just not able to handle what's going on. You know, uh, I don't know what is all responsible for some of what is happening to people, but many of the young are not able to handle what is happening today. And I had to communicate with a friend of mine who, uh, sent me some news about um, a young man who committed suicide. I think it was just yesterday or the day before yesterday, you know. And I said to her, I said, if you do not have a reason to want to live, then you surely are going to have a reason to want to die. And I mean that. If you do not have a reason to want to live, you're surely going to have a reason to want to die. Because many persons are existing and are not fulfilling their purposes in life here. This is real talk now. There are many persons watching me today who don't even know why they're here. Seriously, they're just existing. And it is something that hurts many persons, not only all over the world. You come into this world and you just exist and you follow, and because you haven't found your purpose or your reason why you're here, then you eventually will find a reason to want to die. So when I see people committing suicide and um, you know killing themselves, trying to kill themselves, some of them don't are not successful in the suicidal attempts either, because they don't do what they maybe they want to die, but they're scared that they're going to die. I don't know. Some people attempt suicide and they're not very successful. But listen, suicide is realistic. However, the reasons why you commit suicide is not necessarily something that you couldn't handle. In most instances, many persons who commit suicide could have the situations resolved. Whatever it is that they're committing suicide about could be resolved. However, for some strange reason, that the state of mental health goes the other way. They see taking their lives as an option, resolving the issue. So I don't know. I said it and I mean it. If you don't have a reason to want to live on, then you sure are looking for a reason to want to die. Find something to do that will make you want to keep living. Get yourself passionate with something that is not criminal or is not illegal or is not, creating problems for others. Everyone that comes into this world, in my opinion, comes here for a purpose. Most people don't find it. Most people don't find it. Some of us come here to be musicians, actors, engineers, chemists, lawyers, doctors. We come here for a different purpose. Not everyone is going to be a doctor. Not everyone is going to be a nurse. Not everyone is going to be a magician. Some people are going to be comedians. They come here to make people laugh. And someone sent me something the other day. I'm getting a little feedback from the studio. I don't know where it's coming from, but I'm getting a little feedback there. But I was reading the thing that the person sent me the other day, and it said some people see the work of a comedian as a joke. The work of a comedian as a joke, but the comedian himself don't see himself as a joker. He see himself as a performer. The comedian see himself as a performer. You may see him as a joker, but he himself see himself as a performer, because his purpose in life, may have found, is to make you laugh. even though there's not too much that I laugh about. Seriously, it's difficult to make me laugh that easily because there's so many things that are not to be laughed at. For instance, and I know that people don't like me to talk about these things, but there's a serious stress factor that exists in the lives of many people living here in our country because of the crime that exists. Every time you turn, you have to wonder if somebody's going to rob you or shoot you or snatch your bag or your purse. There's a serious stress factor that lingers in the minds of people because of the crime. This is not a factor because of the blackouts, the power outages. There are people who are in business that every time you turn on, there's a blackout. That's a stress. They don't know when it's going to happen. The roads. The people who are stressed out when they get into their cars because there's a traffic and then there are holes all the road. That's disgusting. There's stress factors because the garbage is not picked up. People see the garbage piling up and they're wondering when is it going to pick up. There's stress factors because of all sorts of things that happen in our country. I understand the stress that people experiences. There's so much that can make people think the other way or think wrong or say things. There's a stress factor that exists with people having to be forced to take the vaccine. There's a stress factor in the promotion of the coronavirus and whatever else happens there. I think we need to be honest with each other and be honest about situations and get to the point where we see things as they are. I mean, I don't want to get into the corona thing because it's time we phase the corona out. I am fed up with the corona. Everything you open, there's a corona this, corona that. I am sick and tired of the corona business. It's time we move on with life. It's time. I think part of the reason why people are frustrated and they're disgusted is because every time you turn around, it's corona. Somebody else die of corona. These people don't die of corona. They die of the effects of the coronavirus, not the dying of corona. Don't scare people into thinking that if you get corona, you're going to die. No. There are things that people have that exist in their bodies that they're unaware of. And I see the coronavirus as an opportunistic virus. You have a problem somewhere, you get the coronavirus, then it may very well attack that area. And most times it's your bronchioles or your respiratory pulmonary system. So we need to. I think in this country we need to become more term friendly and people friendly. The human side of our existence apparently is diminished or is diminishing, and there is hardly any love and no care and concern anymore for the average person that is next to you. We need to stop all that nonsense and get back into reality and start living. We're small, we're little, we're not enough. We need to become more involved in each other's well-being and stop all the negativity and all the cussing and blaring of noise coming out of motorcycles. We got some motorcycles that patrol the streets that the police should be locking them up or taking the motorbike and seize it because it's so loud. They should not be able to get fitness with a motorcycle that is altered the exhaust system. Sometimes late at night, early in the morning, you hear this thing coming and you think it's some racetrack that you're on. Why are the policemen not stopping those motorcycles and seizing them? Because the same ones that are committing crime. Not all of them, but there are many of them using the same bikes to decoy or to create so much noise that you can't really hear what's going on. We need to get to the point where noise becomes a disturbance in our society, and we need to fix it. Noise from stereo systems in cars, noise from the loud music coming out of places next to people's home, noise from the vehicles that are passing, motorcycles, everything on the roads, blaring noises, just deafening people's ears and doing. We need to get serious about creating atmosphere can have less stress factors. I think that We have lost the ability in many of our society, or not societies, many of our industries here. We've lost the ability to control what happens in the population. You know, there's so much of what's not to happen that's happening that I don't know. It's a stress. It's a big stress. You talk to the average person in this country, they're stressed out. You talk to the average teenager, the average youth, they're stressed out. Those who want to go someplace. They're youths who don't care because they don't work no place, they're not in school, they don't have a job, you know, they're looking for something to do. You know, we have lost the ability to control what happens in our population without force. You know, there are many persons who are not working anymore. There are many persons in our society who are so frustrated and fatigued and disgusted at what's happening. We need to change a lot of that and allow people to get back to a state of normalcy. And a state of normalcy doesn't mean that everyone needs to be vaccinated to go there. We can control what is happening with this virus without without vaccination. You know, we have a bigger problem here than the coronavirus. We have a societal problem where there are people in the society who are frustrated and stressed out and are at the limit. They're at the limit and can easily go over the edge. You know, so we need to somehow focus on the psychological effects of what is happening in our society. The crime, the noise nuisance, the forced vaccination process, the loss of jobs, the closing of industries. You know, we need to somehow do a forensic study as to what is happening in our environment, in our communities, you know, in our population. You know, we need to do a forensic study to see the effects of what is going on with each other and what is causing people to have to go over the edge. You know, I mean, they say this is Cancer Awareness Month, right? I say Cancer Awareness Month. This is October, and normally it is termed to be Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I say we need to have Cancer Awareness Month. There's not only breast cancer, there's breast, and this has nothing to do with gender. We have breast cancer, we have prostate cancer, so when are we going to have Prostate Cancer Awareness Month? We have men that are dying of prostate cancer on a normal, regular basis. We have people who are dying of colon cancer. We have people who are dying of uterine cancer. You know, cancer is very rampant in our society. So we don't need, in my opinion, to be talking about Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We need to be talking about cancer awareness and bring people more into the awareness as to what not to do to have any form of cancer. Be it breast, uterine, prostate, colon, stomach, pancreatic, it doesn't matter. It should be renamed Cancer Awareness Month, period. Either you're going to have cancer generally, and let us talk about what not to do to get cancer. You know, there's so many things that we can talk about what not to do, and I've done a lot of those over time. Because cancer has become a cancer. In our society, we have people who are dying daily of cancer. And they don't even know what they are. Some of them don't even know they have cancer. You see? So when we talk about Breast Cancer Awareness Month, for me, that's out the window. Cancer Awareness Month, period. And let us address all forms of cancer. Let us address breast cancer. Let us address prostate cancer, stomach cancer, pancreatic cancer, colon cancer, all the cancers. We don't need to be following what is happening wherever it's happening. We have cancer in our society rampant. We need to address it. Let us stop using all the chemicals that are destroying people's foods. When I screen people these days, I'm seeing cadmium, mercury, lead, high levels, mycotoxins, many forms of chemicals, Kinmix, you know, all sorts of chemicals, DDT. Where are we getting these chemicals from? Those are the things that we need to address. If we're going to talk about cancer awareness, let us begin with what may be contributing to the cancer. Let us have a forensic study as to what types of cancer are prominent in our society, and let us look at what may be contributing to those and deal with that. Every October, Cancer Awareness Month. As a matter of fact, every day should be Cancer Awareness Day. Look at what is causing your cancer and address it on a daily basis. Because cancer is not something that happens overnight. When a person is detected with cancer, it means that something has been happening over a period of time that has gotten to the point where now it is overridden and has overtaken the body's system, whatever organ it is, and it is now at a point where it is exposed. You see? So let us rethink, let us relook, let us restructure, let us rekindle, let us redo, let us reorganize, and stop focusing on the little things that don't take. I'm not taking the calls yet. You know, when we get to the half-hour mark, I'll take all the calls. Right? I don't mind taking the calls, but hold your calls for a minute, because we need to address certain things. Okay? I think that people need to be more conscious as to what they're eating and drinking. People need to be more conscious as to what they're doing with in their lives, daily activities. People need to be taught again how to do proper gardening without chemicals. You know, only this afternoon I was discussing with a young man who was a farm with his fruits, and they make juices and so. And we were talking about the funguses that are eating out the leaves of the plants, and they're spoiling the fruits. You know, what natural can we use to help to conquer those funguses that are affecting the fruit and the trees? If you know, then when you call, you can tell me, and I'll pass it on to him. We were talking about the organic use of some of the essential oils that may be possible to contribute towards, you know, the repairing of the trees that are bearing the fruit, so that the fruit could be healthy. You know, let us get into those things. Let us create an environment in our place where viruses will be something that we don't worry about, because we would have been taking care of our immune system. I still say that the best defense for any virus is an immune defense. Build the immune system, enhance it, fortify it, provide what it needs on a daily basis in your meals. The other thing that is really shocking that I'm seeing very, very prominent in our society is persons who are not able to walk without pain. Persons have ended up in wheelchairs, and they're ending up with canes and having to support themselves when they're walking. Nobody thinks that the bones need to be maintained. You've got to maintain your bones. And I use the example today of someone with a skeleton. You take a skeleton and stand it up. I don't care if you put it up. You take all the flesh off the skeleton, put it to stand up, and then you lose it and see what happens to the skeleton. It's going to crumble. So you've got to maintain your structure, and you've got to maintain what supports your structure. Many of you don't exercise. You don't even know the last day you exercised. You don't know the last day you did anything about toning your muscles. You don't know. You don't do that. You don't do it anymore. Many of you haven't left your house in decades, seems like, because you're in there afraid of coronavirus. You're frightened to go outside. And only recent minutes ago, I was speaking with a young man who did his survey, who did his research, because he realized that his family are affected by the mask that they're wearing. The family is affected from the mask because they're breathing the same air in back and forth. You know, families are affected wearing the same mask, wearing the mask and breathing the same air in and out. So we need to stop following like sheep and start thinking and start studying and start analyzing and begin to look at situations that are affecting our society and make the adjustments. Why is it that we have so much cancer in our society today? Why? Let us find out. You know, let us find out what types of cancers are dominant in our society and work on helping people to correct them. Let us look at the elderly and see, not even the elderly anymore. People just over 30 years old, 35 years old, can't walk properly because their bones are or deficient. Let us look at redoing what is happening in our society and bring the society to a state where we can have a healthy society, a healthy nation, a healthy people. I try not to worry about anything pretty much. I try not to get into the stress mode. We all will have a little bit of stress. We're gonna have a little bit of something that will bother us. But instead of complaining about things, instead of complaining, let us conform and comply. You know, don't complain about everything. If you were told that you shouldn't use milk for some reason, then what can I use to provide the nutrients that I get out of milk if I can't use milk? Let us don't complain. Let us comply and conform. You know. So I just think that it's time that we take a second look at what is happening in our society in all aspects. We've got a simple virus that's out there that's called adenovirus. 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 You all take a look at that. There are many persons who don't wash their hands properly. You come out of the toilet, you don't wash your hand. You defecate, you hold the same knob that you're holding with a clean hand. You don't clean your doorknobs, you don't clean your toilet handles, you don't clean your car handles, you don't clean your steering wheel, you don't clean your gear shift lever. If you don't sanitize, my friends, you're going to pick up the same bacteria that you put down. We need to become a more healthy society. We need to become a more healthy environment. You see, so there are lots of things that we need to be doing. There are lots of things that we need to change. There are lots of things that we need to put in place. And for heaven's sake, in Guyana, please fix the roads. Fix the roads. You should have a structured group of persons in every region who are responsible for communities, and they're patrolling those roads on a daily basis and they're fixing them. I don't care what you have to do, it should happen. Because that's a big stress for many people who drive. When you look at the roads, it's deplorable. Even the main thoroughfares, you cannot drive a straight line. You've got to be going in and out, swerving. Your car is falling into some big deep hole, and then our society is just running down. Guyana is just, I don't care what anybody tell me, it's running down. And it needs to be picked up and it needs to be fixed. And then listen, those big fancy homes don't tell the story. And yes, it takes time, but look how much time we had to do little things. We don't have in place a structured organization that is out there on a daily basis, patching those holes and making them smooth again. We don't. I don't see any when I go. But people complain. Vehicle fall in a hole, the tire is bent, the shocks are gone, the bushings are gone. You hear that every day. I complain enough, right? I promise I'm going to take some calls in a half hour, so let's take the first. Let's take the first one. Let's see what we can do. All right? Who's the first lucky person? Good evening. Good evening.
Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, you can hear me? Very good.
Listen.
Some time ago that it's a significant drop in amount of catch of fish under the ocean, our coast.
I am not really hearing you clearly.
The poisonous nature of the water. I have not heard any sort of discussion about what is fish that are being poisoned, what will happen to us who consume the fish. I think there's a very significant
Can you listen to me for a minute? Can you listen to me for a minute, please? I'm not really hearing you clearly. I'm hearing you talking, but I don't even know what you're saying. So maybe you should slow down and just talk, slow down and speak a little clearer. And don't listen to the television, listen to your phone because I'm not really hearing. Good evening. Good evening.
Hello?
Good evening. Hello. Well, it seems like we're having a little bit of technical difficulty here. We're having some technical difficulty. I'm not. We'll try one more time. We'll try one more time. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, Dr. Haynes. We're getting a sound problem. I hope I'm speaking loud enough.
You're speaking well, and I'm hearing you. And are you hearing me?
We have a cancer in this society we need to fix, and it's the racism cancer. That's the first cancer we need to fix. Thank you.
That's, you make me laugh. I don't laugh that easy, but you make me laugh. But you know what? I don't think it's a cancer. I think it's a attitude. I think in our society we have problems with people with attitude. You know, I don't know what people see and think that they're a different race from one race or another. Your hair might be different. Um, Maybe somehow when you look at a certain person, you look a little different. But let me tell you something. Out of this country, all of us are the same. If you think you're not a black or you're not an African or you may be classified as an East Indian, but you're still a black person. Coming out of Ghana, they still consider you as a black. All right? You may say East Indian or you may say African or whatever, but we are one human race under God. That's how we need to see it. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
The point I was making was that it's reported that the fish in the ocean or the coast, that coast, they're dying and the fishermen are catching less fish because of the diversity of the water. I believe that guys should be warned about consumption of fish that are being poisoned because it will it's killing them, but they're not doing much about that. That's the point I was trying to make.
Okay. Well, I understand. I appreciate that very much. And you know what? You may have a good point there because what I'm seeing now when I screen people are very high levels of mercury. I don't know where the mercury is coming from. Very high levels of lead. I don't know where it's coming from. It could be the seafood. It could be paint. It could be a number of things. But if we are indeed having problems with the fish in the water and the fish, you say the fish are dying, right? If the fish is dying, then it means that we are indeed having a problem with either oxygen in the water or chemicals in the water. You know, and that is something that needs to be considered. It needs to be thought of because, I mean, I don't eat fish, but for those of you who eat, you need to think again. Okay. If that's the truth, I don't know. I didn't hear about that. I didn't read about it. Good evening. Speak up a little bit, please. Good evening to you. Good evening, sir. Thanks for the call. Thanks for the call. Some people don't like what I do, and they criticize what I do. But you know what? I don't really care because I know I'm doing what is the best thing, not only for those who listen, but for our country. And there's some people who are very biased, and I can't really help them. But look, we have to be realistic. We have problems here in Guyana. We have situations that needs to be remedied, and I keep saying these things for year in and year out. It doesn't matter which government goes in, the problems continue to exist, and it is almost as if it is not a part of what needs to happen. It's not a part of the changes that that we need to see implemented. It's not a part of of what the society needs. It appears as though it's not, or maybe it's not important, you know. But I always know one thing: the little things that you can do to satisfy the ordinary people will take you a long way. It will take you the little things like providing a clean environment as much as good, a safe environment, a friendly environment. As far as we just heard about the racial thing. Yeah, we may have racism that exists. Um, we may have that indeed, but it is not on a very large scale. I would not say it's on a large scale here. And for those persons who exercise racism, God help you, because if anything happens to you or your home in any way, um, it might be the same neighbor that you have a racist feeling for that has to turn to help you. We need to think about those things. If your car breaks down on the highway, it might be the same person who you exercise racist behavior with that may have to change your tire or to have to pull you and push your car in a corner. So I don't understand where this racism thing is coming from. Um, I feel sorry for those who exercise racism because they have a problem. They need God in their life, or they need prayers, or they need a wake up call of some sort. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is the crime. I have a very serious concern for the crime that's occurring in our society because we don't need, I mean, what is the benefit? To the criminal, it's a benefit until he's caught. But what does it do for our society? What does it do for your neighbor? What does it do for the person who you break in and rob something or you take something from them? When I was much smaller, when someone committed a crime or break into somebody's home, you knew who he was because they were very few and far between. Today we can't say that because the parenting that occurred so many years gone back failed to enforce the values into the children that are growing up today that are committing crime. We have many persons who are committing crime today, in my opinion, that just don't want to work. They don't want to work. And I keep saying it until the authorities put in place those laws that will seriously punish the criminal, like hanging them, putting them to death, bringing back the national service. I don't care what you call it, but if you can't be in school or you don't have a job, then we need to get you into some skill training center so you can learn to do something and contribute versus disrupting the society. These are things that need to be put in place so we can have a society that is of less fears. We don't need that to be a factor that we have to worry about. There's too much crime in Guyana. There's too much. Too many robberies, too many people who are in the streets doing nothing. There's too much gambling going on. There are too many people who are out of school and have no skills that claim to can't find a job. There are too many parents who encourage crime. Because when the criminal child brings home or brings something, if it's money or value, they accept it. They don't question where you get this from, take it back or whatever it is. The average person does not do that. In the past, if that happened, that child is brought back to the person with the thing and scolded. You think crime begins when the criminal steals something big? Crime begins when the criminal steals from his own home. When the criminal in a small mind steals from his friend in class. It begins at those levels. When they're not scolded for the little things and they get away with it, the big things become easy for them to do. And then they end up killing for it. Robbing somebody with a chain, a necklace, you know, taking their lives for a pocket full of a few dollars. You know, this is the type of thing that stresses a society and stresses people and makes them not have to sleep at night. You know, many persons take turns sleeping at night just to make sure that nobody tampers with their home. Those are things that the law enforcement agencies need to look into. The government need to look into that and stop it from happening. You may not be able to stop all of it, but if you put in place penalties that if they can think about being hung or being put to death, I don't care about humane society or whatever. They're not there when they commit the crime. They're not there to defend the persons or to bring. They cannot bring back the person that the criminal kills. They're not there to even witness or to even do anything. But they can talk about why you have to put this penalty into place and why you have to do this and why you have to do that. But yet still, if something happens, they're not there to defend the person who suffers. So I would shut them out. This is my country. If it's my country, I am the head of this country. You mind your business wherever you are. We don't need crime here. We're going to implement laws that will protect our citizens. Until we get to that point, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere in 100 years. You cannot have your business people be worried about a criminal robbing them on the streets or breaking into their cars and robbing people, picking their pockets. You know, those kind of things they're not. I don't really want to get into that, but it's a serious stress factor that is interfering with the minds of people. They have enough to think about. They have children to get into classroom. They have to find money for books and uniforms and transportation and all of that. You know, the families don't need to be concerned about their children not coming home without somebody interfering with them. There's so much that we need to fix. And not only in Guyana, in many countries, small countries. Why can't we live neighbor to neighbor, making sure that the neighbor is okay? If we can do that, we will change a lot of what's happening here. That's just my belief. So, my friends, we only have about 10 minutes. We have the ability to take all the calls. The lines jam. We can't take all the calls. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, good evening to you.
Good evening, Doc.
Go ahead.
I like the way you speak this evening, man. So tell the
Well, I appreciate
children
that.
that they talk to the children when they get them thing, when they bring the thing home, ask them questions where they get it from, and return it back to the parents. I think that is one of the best things we've done. You know, because without doing that, crime would still go up. But if the parents that take action, the crime would be stopped.
I agree.
And I think that is one of the best things we are advising them to do. You know? Because without them doing that, it won't be going anywhere. Because they encourage their own family to see from them too. You know? So I like the way you put this out.
Well, thank you. Thanks for the call.
And keep up your good work.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay.
I think that it is also important that we realize that we are humans. We're humans. Each of us, if you cut any part of the body, will bleed the same color blood. I don't know anybody who, if you cut them, will bleed a green blood or a yellow blood. It'll be red. So don't tell people about races. You know, if you cut anyone, if we each stick our fingers and look at it, what comes out is a red color. Not a pink or a white or a black. No, if you, listen, if you pick a finger and black blood come out of it, you got toxicity in your system, you got poison in there. If you prick your finger and the blood come out black, you got a problem. If you prick a finger and it come out white, you got a bigger problem. Because you got no blood. You got something else. So we shouldn't be thinking racism. We should be thinking humanism. We are a human race. What can we do to make our world better? What can we do to make our communities better? What can we do to make our lives better? How can we come together and make things happen for our communities? How can we come together and protect our children? How can we come together and provide entities that can create employment in our regions, in our communities? You know, we should be thinking like that. We should be thinking, what can I create that the world can use? What can I create that will fill a void in our society, in our country, in our neighborhood? You know, what can we create? What can we do to make life better for ourselves, for the neighbor, for the next person that comes along? There's too much negative that is causing turmoil in the brains of people and is making them sick. Stress doesn't kill anybody, you know. Stress doesn't kill no one. Is what the stress can cause that can create a problem for someone that can cause them to end up suffering. And I will say it again, and I'll say it openly, coronavirus is not killing anybody. I don't know of any virus that kills anybody. It's the effects of a virus, what it causes, what it creates, what it makes happen to what you have wrong with you. I think we need to find out what is wrong with us. Find out first what is wrong with us. What is wrong with our body? Why are we having hypertension? Why are we having diabetes? Why am I having a headache? Like I just addressed that a few minutes ago. You're having a headache because you're toxic. You're not consuming enough water. You're not cleansing. You know, your pressure might be high. Something is wrong. Let us get to the bottom of things. Why am I having a pain? Why do I have an ulcer on my leg? Why? Why am I infested with parasites? You know, get to the whys and you will see that we will fix the hows. Why am I having this problem? Find out the whys. Why are we having crime? Why I mean, why is it? Why does a youth have to steal? Why does a person have to steal? What makes them do that? What makes a person steal? Let's fix the whys. What makes them do that? And then, for heaven's sake, we're going to solve issues. Not only issues in our societies, issues in our communities, issues in our classrooms. You know, when I talk about the classroom, I remember the days when I was in the classroom, in the little classroom. You know, there was a thing called a wild cane. You hear me? A wild cane. And there was no society that told you couldn't spank a child when they commit a wrong. We all went through that, and we all are here. And if you look at the generation from that era, you will find that that generation in that era is a generation that is making things happen in the world. We didn't die from the licks that we got in the classroom. It made us better because we didn't want the licks. So we did the right thing to avoid the list. We learned to spell, we learned to read, we learned to add, we learned to multiply. We learned to reason because we didn't want the licks. Good evening.
Good night, sir. Hello?
Speaking, go ahead.
Okay, my son, right, he's 30 years. He dislocated his kneecap both a couple of times. And doing the strap it as well, he takes when he takes the doctor, taking tablets to build back his muscles and he thinks when he goes hold the kneecap in hard or and that kind of thing. Again, he went playing so sports, he just got ball, he turned volleyball, he split it. Two sons in the ball.
Here is what I got to tell you, and I said it earlier. If you take a skeleton and you stand it up, what's going to happen to it when you lose it? It's going to crumble. It's going to fall apart. What supports the bone structure is tissues and ligaments and those muscles that you build around those bones. Okay? Obviously, there's weakness around the knee. There's weakness around the kneecap, as you say. There's weakness, so you need to strengthen the tissues and ligaments and muscles that supports that. I don't care what strap you put on it. If you don't strengthen the area, it's going to come on again.
So when you use tablets in different forms,
I don't care what tablet you use.
or we don't
I don't listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying to you. I'm trying to help you to solve an issue. I don't care what tablet you take. Until you strengthen what supports that area, it's going to keep coming out. I don't care what you do to it. You have to strengthen what supports it. If you don't, every time he moves and do the wrong twist the wrong way, it's going to come out again. There's weakness there. You have to strengthen where it's weak, my friend. Just like everything else. If you do not strengthen where the weakness is, you're going to keep having the weakness occur. The problem is going to keep happening because it is weak.
who's the first thing you think we should know?
I'm saying it to you. I'm saying it to you. You've got to strengthen where it's weak. If it's coming out in the area, you've got to tone the muscles and the ligaments and the tissue that supports it. And then he needs to take supplementation. He needs to take supplements that will help to strengthen his area. He needs to maybe be on a supplement, a good one that can help to provide nutrients because he's not getting it in his food, obviously. You have to begin with the cause. You have to first find the cause. Until you find the cause, my friend, you will never solve the problem. And that goes for anything, including that. I give you all the answers that you need. A pill is not going to fix it. You need nutrition and you need support. Until you can support that area where the weakness is occurring, it's going to continue to come out.
Like it. Nutrition-wise also.
Of course, I'm saying that too. You need nutrition, you need nutrients. You need to do the right therapy, exercises to tone the area, right, that supports that area where is the weakness occurring. If not, you're going to keep having the problem over and over.
Will you give me a reference to anybody else?
I'm saying it, you don't need nobody to help you with that. You need to provide.
I can think of a color and Dr. said uses a lot of tomato.
You know what else? You know what? If you can, listen to me. How old is this person that's happening to? How old? That's a grown person. That person's matured. He needs to support. He needs to tone. He needs nutrients, balanced nutrients. He needs minerals. He needs collagen, and he needs. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Listen, I don't know of any tablet that will build back the ligaments. If you if you know if you know of one, I need to know what it is. He has to tone, my friend. He has to tone. And if I'm available, if it's you or somebody for you, you can probably see what we can do. That's all I can tell you, because obviously you're doing the right thing. Okay? All right, do that, because you're not getting anywhere right All right. Time comes and we could see the person, if it's you or someone else, then we'll be able to probably address it better. Okay? All right. Thanks for calling. Okay. Welcome. I know my operator could tell anybody what to do about that kind of thing, and she is not a doctor. She's an athlete. And she could tell whoever it is that have that problem what to do to make that not slip out the game. I know she could do that. And if you find a good physician who understands what needs to be done, it will be done because he will advise you properly. Obviously, you're going to a physician who don't know what to tell you because no pill can fix that. Okay, I'm telling you that because I used to be the person for FIFA in Guyana, who was responsible for all the football athletes, all the athletes who played football. I used to be the one who was responsible for them. When if anything happened at the games, I used to be the one. So I know I can tell you what not to do and what to do. I can tell you that, and I'm not an orthopedic physician. Okay. So if you've gone to one that is qualified to do it and he ain't telling you, unless you're not following what he tell you, maybe he's telling you the right thing, but you don't follow him. Could possibly be too. I don't know. But get to the bottom of it. Like, I don't know. I think somebody moved a hand. Somebody moved a minute hand. Can't be after 7 already. All right. Well, we had a very good dialogue, I think. It's we're still working on improving the whole process, right? With the phone thing and but I appreciate your input. I hope that what I said tonight made sense to many of you, and I needed to start thinking and start acting, thinking and acting. And listen, if you have a son or a daughter that is committing crime out there and you know about it, please advise them because the next person that is shot and killed may be your child. Okay? So if you know that they're committing a crime out there, talk to them about the crime that they commit and let them find something else to do that is not illegal. Let them find something to do that will occupy their time better. You know what I think is missing? What has been missing in many of the communities around the world, including Guyana? Many of the people who have grown up and are growing up have never found life's purpose. You've never found what you came here to do. So you're just like a bat out of wherever. Okay, my operator says I can take this one more call. Okay? One call. Good evening.
Good night.
Good night to you. Be quick because we're out of time.
I'm not just talking from why you're watching this news and send mostly COVID death is who's being unvaccinated. And people dying with vaccination. Good night.
Well, I knew that was going to come sooner or later. But I didn't want to address that. But there are many persons who have been vaccinated that are dying. And I'm saying to you that people are dying from causes, from conditions that are existing that will kill them anyway. People have pre-existing conditions that they're not aware of. Some are aware of, some are not aware of. And they're going to die anyhow because the condition that they have is going to take them out. Let's don't blame the virus for everything. Let us begin to dig inside of us and see really what is happening. Find out and fix that. Fortunately for us, we have a device that gets into you. And some of you don't believe it, but that's too bad. We find what is happening that's causing your problems. Okay? We find what is hidden inside of you. And even if you don't want the treatment, even if you don't take the treatment, find out what is wrong. Some of you say, oh, it can't be all them things. Many doctors have been told, I've told persons who would have seen us, there's no way all these things could be wrong with you. Well, I got news for you. We don't plant them there. We don't plant the things that we discover that are wrong with people. It's the people bodies themselves that are telling us what's happening to it. I want to make that clear. We do not decide what is wrong with you. It's the body that you come here with that tells us what is happening with it. So if the doctor tell you he can't believe all them things, well, let he come and sit down here. Let he or she come and sit here, and we will tell them what is wrong with them. And I have no problems in doing that. I challenge any doctor anywhere in the world to come and sit in these chairs and let me screen them, and I will show them what is wrong with them. Good night. God bless you. So long.
Looking for a place for the whole family? Come down to the Toucan Mall in Amelia's Ward, Linden. It's the mall that has it all. We have great food, a relaxing atmosphere, and activities for all ages. Tennis, swimming, and a playground. But the fun doesn't stop after dark. There's even a bar and an arcade. And if you aren't ready to go home yet, we've even got a spacious room for your comfort, complete with air conditioning, Wi-Fi, and a private bathroom. The Toucan Mall can also facilitate your event in our spacious conference hall. We also have a theater with films for the entire family. It's the Toucan Mall located in Amelia's Ward, Linden.